wonderful Virgo. This is Gwendolyn. Welcome back to the channel. Or if it's your first time here, welcome. This is going to be a monthly Tarotscope for Virgo for April. And I've got a new deck here that I'm using. It's called the Vision Quest deck. And I love all the Native American symbolism and imagery. I just got this deck recently with a friend. He and I went into a store together, and I didn't even know that they sold tarot cards there, but I saw it and I just fell in love with it. So I'm excited to be using that today. I just want to talk a little bit while I'm shuffling here about what's going on in the sky during April. We've got the remainder of this Mercury retrograde in Aries for the first 2 weeks of April. And Mercury is your ruling planet, Virgo, so sometimes both Virgo and Gemini can feel the Mercury retrogrades a little bit more than everyone else because Mercury being your ruling planet, it kind of scrambles communication or makes things go haywire, or it can just affect things, make things go a little bit backwards. So a really good application of the time during a Mercury retrograde is to go backwards as well. Like go review things, tie up loose ends, dot the T's, dot the I's, cross the T's. Just sort of work out any loose ends of things that are not yet complete. It's a good time to reflect and review things. Also, with it being retrograde in Aries, it can bring up the shadow aspects of Aries, which are, you know, a lot of aggression or anger in communication, people being quick on the draw, or there just being a lot of agitation, as if there were extra fire energy just brewing around. So it's a really good time to just maintain your composure. You Virgos are earth signs, so you're usually pretty grounded anyway. But if you find that any communications are scrambled or haywire, or that there's extra heat in the environment, it's a good time to just stay grounded. Just be your normal, practical, reasonable self. And once we hit the middle of April, Mercury will go back direct. Communication will become more clear, more crisp. And we've got a new moon in Aries on April 15th. So that's the time to go forward with any new plans or new thoughts, passions, anything that has to do with breaking through boundaries or initiating action. Beginning on April 15th is a great time to push forward with anything, especially as it has to do with our fires or our passions. That new moon in Aries is a wonderful time to begin that. So let's see what's coming up for Virgo for April 2018. Looks like you open with the 9 of Earth. This is called accumulation in this deck, and it has to do with bringing riches to yourself through having discipline. Normally 9 of Coins or 9 of Earth is depicted as a woman who is surrounded by coins in a garden, and she has a falcon on her arm. She's dressed in luxurious robes, and you know, she's dripping in jewels. It's someone who has put themselves in a nice position through their hard work, their diligence, through their good decision making. And with this card in reverse, it's saying that, you know, for some of you, it may be that you no longer wish to be single. 9 of Coins in the upright usually depicts someone who is on their own or has put themselves in a nice position and they're happy being single, and they are sort of reaping the rewards of all their good decision making. In the reverse, this can mean that you are tired of being alone, that you have put yourself in a nice position and now you're wanting to see what else there is out there. Maybe in terms of relationship, maybe in terms of further goals. But it means that you have brought a lot to yourself, but maybe it's just not satisfying you in the same way that it has before. It kind of reminds me of someone who is sitting in a beautiful house and surrounded by beautiful things, but they're like, isn't there more to life than just this? I've gotten to a nice place where I'm comfortable, and now I'm looking for what else is out there. So that may be an opening theme to the beginning of April. And I'm seeing that with the Father of Water here in reverse as well. So the Father of Water is usually the King of Cups in the tarot. And it has to do with someone who is emotionally stable, is compassionate, usually a good partner to another person, someone who considers others' feelings as well as their own, and the impact of their actions on other people's emotions. When King of Cups is in reverse, it can sometimes mean feeling emotionally unstable or emotionally unbalanced. Occasionally, and I'm not getting that this is for many of you, but occasionally this can be an overindulgence in drinking when King of Cups appears in the reverse. But I'm just getting that there may be some emotional issues that you are just needing to stabilize at this time. And it may be that these are related to some old ways of thinking from the past that you are ready to release. The reason I say that is because this card is called negative thinking. Swords, or air as it's depicted here, is the element of thoughts, beliefs, ideas, systems of belief. And in the reverse, it's saying you're willing to let those go. You're coming to a completion on an old way of thinking. So I'm really getting that this dissatisfaction with both emotionally, or the way that your thoughts are impacting your emotions and maybe throwing you off balance a little bit, is really about releasing these old thoughts, coming to that completion. It's a 10 of air. 10 is a number of completion, getting ready for the next cycle. And I see that you're actually opening up. This is the Daughter of Water, and this is equivalent to the Page of Cups in the tarot. And the Daughter of Water is someone who is connected with her heart. So whether you're male or female, I'm reading both of these as you, Virgo. This King of Cups in reverse and this Daughter of Water. This actually means connecting to the younger side of yourself, remembering what yes feels like, remembering what it feels like to be joyous or infatuated with something. This often is the card of puppy love. So it means like looking back to when you were a teenager, what made you excited? What made you passionate? What made those hormones rage and just get you all giddy? The Daughter of Water is inviting you to reconnect with that and remember what it feels like to say yes. And remember what it feels like to be impassioned with something, engrossed with something, consumed with something that your heart loves. So that's what I'm seeing April opening for you as being, is that maybe some of you are considering no longer being single, saying, you know, I kind of have it all, but emotionally I'm not feeling balanced or stable, and this is an old way of thinking. Or I'm tired of this way of thinking. I'm ready to let some of these old thoughts go, and I'm ready to connect with my heart. I'm ready to feel young again, is kind of what I'm getting with this card in the upright. So then, as it leads to the middle of the month, we have pleasure here, 6 of Water, which is surrounded by fear and doubt. So this is kind of interesting what's going on here. 6 of Cups, it's upright here. This means connecting to your past, maybe connecting with someone from your past. This means it's usually depicted by 2 children who are exchanging flowers. And cups represent emotional energy, emotions from the heart. So this can be a reunion with someone from your past. This can be just remaining innocent and playful and joyous and sort of taking on the energy of children that are kind to one another and simple and just very sweet. This has a very sweet flavor to it. You can just see that it's about water that's watering these flowers, and they're just opening, and that's why it's called pleasure here. But it's also surrounded by doubt and fear. So my question to you, Virgo, is around the middle of the month, what doubts or fears do you need to remove? Do you need to take away in order to just enjoy this pleasure completely? In order to like fully indulge in the joyousness that this card offers. It's to really show up as this childlike person connecting with their heart, who does get to feel all the pleasure and all the joy and all the, like, you know, yes in capital letters. So I'm kind of just getting that maybe there's some seriousness or some unneeded overthinking. And again, I'm seeing that here we've got the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Swords, which means too many thoughts. And I think it may be complicating things for you when this is very sweet and very simple. There's a great quote by Rumi that said, oh no, sorry, it's Confucius, that says, life is very simple. We insist on making it complicated. And so I'd like to invite you to think about what sort of doubt or fear do you need to just remove in order to have this pleasure, this reunion, this sweetness, this joy show up unadulterated and untarnished and just fully, like, how can you collect all of these flowers and just enjoy it for what it is in its pure state, uncomplicated by the fears or the doubts that may surround it for you. So that's a real opportunity here in the middle of April for you, Virgo. It's actually very sweet. And then I see the Seven of Air in reverse. This is very interesting in the reverse position here. In this deck, it's called Futility. And normally we see in this card a person who's running away, stealing 5 swords away, and thinking that they're not being seen. And in this card, it's a spear whose tip is broken, so it's no longer useful. In the reverse, I'm seeing it as you being willing to let go of an old way of thinking that no longer serves you. It no longer is productive. It can't be used anymore. It's not serving you. It's not one of the tools that's bringing you any results in your life. So if there's some old way of thinking, or maybe even a way of being, mostly swords have to do with thoughts and beliefs and ideas, so I'm mostly seeing it as a way of thinking, but if there's an old way of thinking, old pattern, that is no longer serving you, that is no longer even productive, it's sort of like it makes this tool useless. Why are you carrying it around anymore? Why not discard that? Why not discard that old way of thinking that may feel like cutting corners or risk-taking behavior or anything that is part of this arsenal that you're really ready to close the chapter on and let go? Because it becomes dead weight. It becomes something that you have to carry around needlessly. And I'm seeing you letting go of what you don't want to carry around needlessly anymore. This is like old baggage. Why carry around spears with broken tips? They have no point for you anymore, Virgo. So whatever that is, I see you getting ready to release that in the middle of April. It could be something related to fear or doubt. And you're saying, I don't want to think this way anymore. I'm ready to let that go. And then I show Father of Fire coming in. This is a very bold, courageous, dynamic master of passion and energy and optimism, enthusiasm. I'm seeing this as you too, Virgo, but I'm seeing it in the reverse. And whether you're male or female, I'm seeing you having this sort of like new courageous dream. King of Wands is someone with big ideas, big dreams, bold, ready to implement things. He takes action. That's what all that fire is about. But with it in reverse, I'm seeing it as you want to do this, but you're feeling there are maybe some doubts, fears. Here again, they are doubts, fears, or resistance to showing up this way, to saying, I can be a person of action. I can be a person of confidence. I can be the person who has big ideas and takes big steps of action on it. I see that as you, but I see you maybe questioning yourself on it, or that maybe it's just in delay. Maybe the time is not yet right. I'm seeing the Mother of Air and the Father of Air showing up head to head. So there may be some necessary steps of sorting out your mind and your thoughts first. Both of these people have mastery over their thoughts. She's showing up in the upright and he's showing up in reverse. And I'm actually getting that this is two sides of you, Virgo, because swords represent thought and the mental realm. And that's what this Mercury element is about. That's what's going on with Mercury in retrograde and then going forward. So I'm getting that you're having sort of like two conflicting thoughts about something. And Queen of Swords is usually about boundaries, who you let in and who you keep out. where your boundaries are that keep you safe, and speaking clearly and in accordance with the truth. So I actually am seeing, Virgo, that these are two truths within you, but you're having conflicts. I'm really reading this as an inner conflict, an inner mental conflict, because you're seeing it from this perspective, but you're also seeing it from this perspective. And when she's in reverse, he's in the upright. So it's sort of like saying both of these things are true. You can see both sides of it, but it's almost like, because they're equivalent energies, there's not really a victor here. It's something that you are going to need to resolve, where they both are in the upright, where they both are in harmony. This is a natural couple here, the mother of air and the father of air. So this is like having the truth integrated in your own mind. It's a resolution. Sometimes it means, embracing a paradox. How can you sit with two conflicting truths and yet work it out so that you can move forward, that you can find that balance? Because really what the resolution of the final part of this month is about is you finding balance, Virgo. And one of the beautiful things about this card, this is the card that is representative of strength, by the way, in the tarot. And it means patience and endurance and fortitude. One of the beautiful things about this card is that in the planting of gardens, and when gardens are flourishing, these dragonflies only appear when the pH balance is correct, when both acidity and alkaline is balanced in the garden. That's something I learned from my mother, who's a master gardener, is that when dragonflies show up, you know that everything is in balance. So I'm going to encourage you, Virgo, as April draws to a close, and as you have released these old ways of thinking, these old thoughts and tools that no longer serve you, releasing this doubt and fear, I'm going to invite you to see what are some conflicting truths that you're holding and that can be merged in a way where you find balance between them, where you can say, okay, well, maybe this is true, but maybe this is also true. Maybe the story that I'm telling myself about this is in such a way where they don't necessarily have to be exclusively opposite, like pro and con or true and false. Maybe there's some balance or integration or conversation between the king and queen, the truth here and the truth here, that can be integrated. And that's when things come to peace. That's where you find this beautiful, that's you standing there with this pot on your head, in perfect stillness, in perfect balance, in perfect strength. So if towards the end of the month, Virgo, you find yourself in an internal battle in terms of your thoughts, see what you can do to find that balance. Acidity or alkalinity is not bad, either one, but when you can bring them into balance, you get this beautiful, peaceful image. So just balance your mind towards the end of the month, and then you may be able to actually access this part of yourself, which means moving forward, taking action, being inspired, being courageous, following your big ideas. So it's kind of exciting for you actually towards the end of the month, Virgo. I'm excited for you. And I'm also excited for you in letting go of these things that no longer serve you and connecting a little bit more with your heart, feeling like a kid again, feeling, where is that yes in my life? What does yes feel like? Try to remember what yes feels like, Virgo. It's going to be a good exercise for you for April. So that's my reading for you for April, Virgo. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up or share it with another Virgo who you think might like it also. And if you're ever interested in booking a personal reading with me, you can visit my website, readingsbygwendolyn.com. I'll have a link below for that. And as always, I just want to thank everyone so much for watching. Yours in the stars.